Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Curtis Williams, Master Astrologer, Reiki Master, number of other masters, slaves, whatever, however you want to put it. And just to let you know, I put these letters into my name on my cards, on my printouts. It's just to show that I made the effort to study my crafts. I put the time in, I put the money in, and not everybody does that. And so I'm proud of my designations, and that's why I do it. It's important. I think it's important to other people to understand this. All right, so today is Monday, February 21st, and I've been talking about Hermeticism. I've been talking about alchemy, talking about tarot, but I haven't really covered them yet. A little bit of the alchemy, nothing with the tarot. So I just want to tie it all up. Hermetics is what one would call alchemy. Hermetics is a way of life from the very beginnings. Man has been trying to transmute metals and other things into other things, and generally it was out of a want of greed. For instance, transmuting lead into gold, and that is yet to be shown to be done, and I don't know that it's possible, although in this universe, with the right mind, the right set of thinking, anything is possible. So anyway, just a brief thought on Hermetics. It's about, really comes after the name of Hermes, Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great. Old Hermes, the messenger of the gods. And I think I mentioned in an earlier episode that Hermes was the three important parts of what he needed, or what he offered, was alchemy, theurgy, and astrology. And these are all ancient modalities that have been around for a long time. And it's really, really amazing if you take this channel seriously, or you decide to take these thoughts that I'm bringing to you seriously. They're all intertwined. The Kabbalah has a tie-in with Hermetics. It has a tie-in with the tarot, with astrology, with what's that seems to be slipping me now. There are so many thoughts. It's of the mathematics, and mathematics was a very important part of the beginning of our culture, our world culture, and brought us beautiful buildings, architecture, and so on. And it's all tied in to the Hermetics, to the alchemy, to the astrology. So just a little bit about Hermetics. Thoth was the Egyptian god who invented the hieroglyphics, a venerated god from 3000 BC. The Greeks, wanting and admiring the god Thoth, brought in their own god, Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great. Hermetica is not written in Egyptian, but rather in Greek, Latin, and crypto. First university was established in Baghdad and called the House of Wisdom. And it is so unfortunate we bombed Baghdad, as they said, back to the Stone Age. This is where so much of our early information and culture as human beings was lost, was left and then lost and destroyed. Excuse me. Excuse me. the four basic stages of an alchemical work is: one, the negredo, blackness; two, the albedo, whiteness; three, citrinitas, yellowing; and four, rubedo, red. And so all this alchemical work was rooted in the philosophy of a gradual but irreversible process of improvement in nature. And again, without alchemy, we wouldn't have our pharmacists, we wouldn't have our herbology, herbalism, none of that. Everything, all these grand studies have really brought us great information, health and wealth, but less understanding. There are few people, relatively speaking, who understand how these processes work. And I'd like to leave it in your mind that give it some thought, investigate it, look and see. Right behind me here, I have a list of all the American herbs and what they're used for, when to use their names, and where they can be found. This kind of information is not readily found. You have to seek it out, and you have to study it. And to study it, you need teachers. So there's people like myself, there's others, but they're not readily available because many of them are practitioners. They don't have time. They need to make their money, provide for their families. And so there are teaching schools, and then there are teachers, but they're not easily found and they're not inexpensive. So if you're interested in any of this, I suggest that you put some time into looking into where you can find this information, see if it interests you, and find the truth in any of it. I was on Facebook earlier, and this one person stated that astrology is a pseudoscience, something a scientist would say, a scientist who's never studied astrology, and it just simply isn't true. And it's very easy to tell that this person, they don't know what they're talking about, because you don't say things like that if you had the information readily available to you. Okay? So don't be foolish and say things like that unless you have information to state otherwise. And if you have that information, then I think you can have a debate, and I think that you can have a good argument. But there's there's the truth, and then there's just BS. All right, so I have written here, Hermetics was initially about transmutating metals, such as I said earlier, lead into gold. But first, the individual, the alchemist, needed to live properly. Hermetics is all about living properly, breathing right, eating right, thinking right, doing right, studying right. Anything that the body can do, it has to be done in a certain way. In other words, you're preparing your body for the transmutation, because this is what alchemy was really about. And wasn't found out until, I don't know, last couple hundred years, that alchemy is about transmuting the body, the endocrine system, into the evolvement of us becoming, because we all are gods and goddesses. And with the transmutation through the endocrine system, you can make it to being godly. I haven't gotten there, and don't know of anybody who's gotten there, but this is the story. This is what these books are about. All right. I want to give you not the elements, but the organs of the endocrine system. Interestingly enough, you may not know that the skin is part of the endocrine system. All right, the uterus, the ovary, the testicle, the parathyroid, the thyroid, the pancreas, the thymus, the liver, the stomach, the kidney, the adrenal glands, And inside the brain is the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the pineal or pineal gland. And these last three organs are at the very top. They're in the brain, and this is where we ascend to, and this is what alchemy is really all about, is ascending our thoughts, our feelings, our thinking, our being, our essence, upward into the brain so that we can flower like the lotus flower and become enlightened. And it's doable. Very hard in this day and age, as we are really distracted by so many things in life, particularly with the technology that we have. But I think it's worth investigating. And an interesting thought that I have, and I remember writing this down and reading it, and I rewrote it today, is about the scarab beetle. The Egyptians thought highly of the scarab beetle, and they highly revered it in ancient Egypt. It was the symbol of immortality, resurrection, and transformation. These words sound similar to alchemy. This means that the scarab beetle totem is a powerful ally for creation and metamorphosis in your life. The scarab beetle looks very similar to the underside. Take a cross section of the brain, look up at it, just like you would the sky, and you will see a design very similar to the scarab with the wings, a wing on each side. And again, interestingly enough, the scarab beetle and the brain and the organs in the brain all relate to enlightenment, into becoming and flowering into our best possible being. We haven't been able to do that yet. That information has been held from us. And so I'm inclined to suggest that really take a look into this. If you're happy, if you've gotten this far, I think you're interested. And so again, the Hermeticism involves the Kabbalah, tarot, alchemy, theurgy, magic, sacred geometry. That was the word I was looking for. Sacred geometry, and much, much more. They are all tied together through languages, through math, through architecture. It all comes through Hermeticism and alchemy. So, I don't know. If you're interested in this, please let me know. Tell me about it, and I'll go further into it. I just don't want to bore you. I find this information fascinating, and I wish I would have come upon it earlier in my life, but you get married, you fall in love, you get married, you have children, you need to get a job, you need to raise your family. There's little to no time to use to studying these things without leaving the family life behind. So give it some thought. Maybe it's something that you really can find would be attributable to enlightening your lives. Now, again, Hermetics and alchemy, basically the same. It's all about transmutation, but they're different. And thank goodness for alchemy. We have the chemists, we have the mathematicians that know how to put the elements together and bring us things like plastic, things we take advantage of, plastic and glass, our iPads, our iPhones. 10, 15 years ago, they seemed impossible. Now it's magic. It really is. It's magic. So if you like this, if you like my channel, please give me a like. You don't have to, of course, but if you would like me to continue this conversation, please give me a like. I appreciate you coming to my channel. It's a lot of fun for me. It gives me the opportunity to speak about the things that I really wish to speak about. And I think next episode I'm going to talk more about astrology. I don't want to get off of that, and right as of now we have plenty of time to go back and forth. But you, the people who come to my channel, have a lot of influence in what we can go over. So leave a note, say something, and I will follow you up on that, and we'll talk about your interest, and we'll get it going. Perhaps you have something I have yet to bring up and you'd like it discussed. So anyway, thanks again for coming to my channel. Hope to see you again, and I will be leaving another episode here very soon. Thanks for everything. Bye.